So those who were present that day, they will remember the story. But once again, to refresh your memory, I'm going to just discuss it once again. Now, what is this story about? Should wizard hit mommy? It is about a routine which is there between a father and his daughter. What is that routine? The father would tell a story to his daughter, like before her afternoon nap. And the story that he would tell, it had the same pattern always. Yes. And now there are certain changes here that he realizes in the storytelling session, that his child is growing. She's become taller, bigger, right? And she's also becoming more curious. She's asking questions, right? Now here, the like the change or this very difficult situation, it arises when the daughter selects the animal for the story. Okay, what is the pattern of the story? Can any one of you tell me what was the pattern of the story? Mohit, Ankit, anybody? Right, so what was the pattern of the story? Yes, what was it? That Yes, right. So father would tell a story every day. There was an animal. The name of the animal was Roger. So whether it was Roger Rabbit, Roger Tortoise, Roger Squirrel, Chipmunk, whatever it was, Roger. Okay. And now Roger would have a problem, and he would go to the wise old owl. Who would he go to? He would go to the wise old owl, right? And the wise old owl, what would he tell? That you will go to the wizard. Who is a wizard? Who is a wizard? Yes? Who is a wizard? Yes, so a person with magical powers. So he can cast magic spells, creates a magic potion, right? So he would go to the wizard, and what would the wizard say? The wizard would tell the animal, right, that would give a solution to the problem, and would also tell the animal that this is where you have to go. And because naturally, I'm not going to do this for free, I'm not going to cast a spell for free. You will have to bring money, and the animal would go over there, bring the money, and the problem would be sorted. And then after that, what was it? The animal would go play with the other animals, and they would wait for the daddy to come back from work. Okay, and yes, the train would come, the choo-choo train, and then they would have their supper. And yes, so Jack would describe everything that they had in their supper. Okay, so every day the story routine would go on very smoothly. Okay, and now this particular day, there were a little problems that were there with the story. There was a little change in the pattern of the story. Why did this happen? Because what did Joe decide? Yes, what brought about a change in the storytelling pattern was that Joe decided that today the animal, or you can say the main character of the story, would be a skunk. She did not know that the skunk has a very bad smell, and because of that, the animals, they stay away from the skunk, right? So they're not very friendly with the skunk, they don't go near the skunk. And as a result, what happened? The little skunk was left alone. The little skunk did not have the company of other animals. Okay, is this clear till here? I have read the chapter. If sorry, if you want, I can read it again, but I expect you to do a little bit of reading yourself. Okay, I'm just going to discuss, revise the summary with you, or a detailed revision of the summary we are going to do. Okay, right. So what happened here is that now the skunk has a very foul smell. As a result of it, the animals, they stayed away. The animals were not friendly, and the animals did not play. And for children, what do they expect life to be? They expect life with happy endings. They expect life where everything is nice and happy and it's all smiles and laughter, right? And there is no place for anything bad. There is no place for unhappiness. And so we can imagine the childhood of the children who are growing up in this pandemic. What are they thinking of the world around them? Right? They're not able to explore, they're not able to play with their friends. And right, so when you are not able to connect with your peers, you're not able to meet your friends, you're not able to grow up with children of your age, then yes, there is a big thing that is missing in life, isn't it? So now Roger Skunk had this problem, right? And it was not a problem that he had created for himself, it was something natural. So the skunks, they have a foul smell. As I've told you, it is to keep the bigger animals away. It is as a defense mechanism, it is maybe protection. So because as we read about all the animals, there's something or the other that they have been blessed with to keep themselves safe, right, from the predators, from the big wild animals. Okay, now what happened? Roger Skunk had the smell, animals would not play with him. Who was sad when she learned about it? Yes, so Joe was very sad when she learned about this condition. Now what happens in the story? When the animal has a problem, where does the animal go to? Yes, the animal goes to the owl. Yeah, very nice. And the animal goes to the owl, and the wise old owl will find a solution to the problem. Yes. So the wise old owl, right? Even he was feeling what very bad and okay because of the bad smell of the animal. And yes, so he said like you go to the wizard and he will solve your problem. Okay. Now wizard is an old man, right, with magical powers. And he lived there in the middle of the forest, and his house was very untidy. This was a very old man, and he did not have any cleaning lady. A person would come to clean his house. And of course, we think that the wizard can just do hocus pocus or something, and maybe his house would be sparkling clean. But ironically, even the wizard needs someone to clean up his house. Okay, right? So where did Roger Skunk go to? He went to the wizard. And the wizard said, okay, you, of course, even he also said, oh my God, what a bad smell. And he changed the smell of the skunk. What did he change the smell of the skunk into? Yes, he mumbled that smell, that spell. Yes, so look at that spell here, right? He goes to the wizard and yeah, so here he is, that abracadabra hocus poo, Roger Skunk, how do you do? Roses, boses, pull an ear, Roger Skunk, you never fear. Bingo. So he cast the spell, and what happened to the smell of the skunk? It changed into something very nice and very fragrant. Yes, they started smelling of roses, and it was a very pleasant smell. It was a very fragrant, yes, smell. And right, so the animals did not have any problem. So where did he go? He went to the well over there. There was the money which was required. So Roger Skunk got the money, gave it to the wizard. Then he went back to play with the animals. And did the animals have any problem now? No, the animals did not have any problem, because now the Roger Skunk, what did he smell of? He smelt of roses. So the animals did not run away. The animals did not avoid him. Okay, right. So now, yes, all the animals, they played with Roger Skunk, and now it was time for Daddy to come back from work. And here, as it is described in quite detail, yes, that what are the things that they have for their supper, right? So all of this here happening, and so the animal played, and yes, here it is. Now when dad is there telling the story, what does he expect? He expects that his daughter should start feeling sleepy. I'm telling her a story, and the purpose of the storytelling is that yes, so she should fall asleep while listening to the story. But yes, for the past, you can say, last few storytelling sessions, the child is not falling asleep, and they're quite disturbed, right? Because as parents, we get very impatient. We want things to happen soon, the way we want it. Okay, why you're not finishing your meals fast? Why you're not falling asleep? And children, they take their own sweet time. They can take long time to finish their meal, and they'll keep on running around here and there. And of course, yes, they just don't want to go lie in bed and fall asleep. It's a different scenario now. Okay, now we don't want to get out of bed. Am I right? Yes, I am. Okay, so now what happened? So yes, so the animals, right, they played with Roger skunk, and it's time for daddy to come back. And yes, so they had their dinner, right? And what happened when he went home? What did mother skunk do? Yes, so when her child went back home, and she could smell him different, right? He did not have the skunk smell, he was smelling of roses. And she found that smell very bad, and she said, like, what is this awful smell? Even though it is smell of roses, but for the skunk, it is not their original smell. It is not their identity, right? So what did she do? And yes, so she came to know that the wizard has changed the smell of the skunk. So she took the skunk back to the wizard. What did she do? She hit the wizard on the head with her umbrella, and made him change the smell back of a little child again. Because mummies, yes, they love their children no matter what. They don't want them to change just because the world does not like them, right? And that is one very important lesson that is here. That is, we should not change our identity. We should not change ourselves to make others happy, right? And this is what makes the world so varied and so beautiful. It is our differences, it's our individualities, it's our own unique identity that we have, right? So if you are all the same, like, of course, it would be quite a boring classroom, isn't it? Right? So all the students same here, and right, so it is that the differences which we are blessed with. So mother was not happy with the smell of roses. She went back, changed the smell, and she brought the child back home. But yes, Joe has a problem. What is the biggest problem? That the skunk should have friends to play with. Okay, right? But now, with the passage of time, we get used to. And children, they are very adjustable, right? Okay, we elders might get stubborn, or because we have become rigid with the passage of time. It takes time, but children, they adjust so easily, they adapt so easily. Okay, and so the other animals, what happened with the passage of time, they got used to the foul smell of Roger skunk, and they became his friends. But was Joe happy with the ending of the story? Joe was not happy with the ending of the story. The story should have ended there. Yes, so that, right, fine. Roger Skunk got his smell back, and now he went back home. Mother is happy, and he was, like, of course, with the passage of time, accepted as a friend of the other animals. But she is not happy with the ending of the story. She wants the story to end where, once again, mother goes to the wizard, and wizard hits the mummy on the head that, why have you made your child unhappy? Why have you made his smell change? And he should have a pleasant, fragrant smell, right? He should be like the other animals. Now Joe is unhappy. Joe does not like what mummy did. And this is where the moral issue, or where the problem in the story, it begins, right? So now here we have the little girl adamant that the story should end on a different note. Roger Skunk smelling of roses. And what does Jack want? Jack wants her to understand that, yes, so you just can't do things your own way. You can't mess with nature. You can't change things that are not there, or you can't change your identity, right? So here it is, yes, a big problem which the father faces. How was he able to convince the daughter? Was she convinced? And yes, did she fall asleep? No, she did not fall asleep. The father made a lot of efforts. He felt very disheartened. He felt very frustrated that I am here making so much of efforts to make the child fall asleep. But the story today had so many twists and turns. And as a result, what happened? Yes, the child was not happy with the story and she wanted the story to have a better ending. Okay. Now, here, what are we going to discuss? The first ending of the story. What was the first ending of the story? Yes, what was the first ending of the story? Where? Yeah, that was where the skunk went to the wizard and he changed his smell and he plays with the animals. What is the second ending of the story? Mother takes him back to the wizard, gets his smell back, and with the passage of time, yes, right, the animals, they get used to the smell of the skunk and they start playing, right? So they become his friends and everything is back to normal. But the little girl is not happy and she wants the first ending of the story because she had not expected this. She had not expected mother's reaction, that mother is going to be so angry, mother is going to be so shocked that my little child has changed. And this is quite natural, but yes, for young children to understand this, it does become a little difficult. Now here, the father also, he wanted to teach a moral lesson to the child. He wanted to put the child to sleep also because he had another task to do. What was that? He had to help his wife. So his wife, she was expecting the third child and he was helping her with the painting of the woodwork and the railings and all. So now he's there, like, of course, he was in a hurry to make the child asleep so that he could help his wife. Was he able to put the child asleep? No. Was he able to help his wife? No, because he was there feeling very disappointed, right? Because he was not able to convince the child about the ending of the story. He also talks about his own autobiographical experience, his own personal experience, that maybe in his childhood he was bullied. He had, yes, like an unhappy experience where children used to tease him, and his mother really supported him all the time and helped him out of the situation. And he felt that the child should also learn this lesson, that mother has helped the skunk. Mother has helped the skunk realize a very important thing, that you should not succumb to the pressures of others. You should not change for the sake of others. And yes, other children, they also don't have any right about teasing children or bullying children because of their appearance, because of their identity, because of their name, because of the color, so many things, right? So here it is, this is the biggest, I would say, moral issue, right? And it is again about the parents' authority being questioned. So can you expect what a 4-year-old child or a 5-year-old here child, they're questioning the authority of parents, giving her own ending to the story, giving her own little twist, or you can say why? Because she wanted a happy ending. And one thing we all know, that in life, there are not always happy endings. Okay? Right. So about this story here, I want you all to read the chapter. Okay? Right? And I have read it once, and I don't think so there's a need for it to be read again. And I'll be discussing the major terms and the major things about this chapter, because yes, once again, in online, we have, right, this expression that comes through, it becomes quite difficult to connect, right? So please read this story. Can you do this much for me today? Yes, class, can you do this much?